Let's get into the headlines now and see what the papers are saying across Nigeria this morning. I have with me in the studio to make sense of all of this. I have two lawyers to give us their learned perspective to things. Jide Ologun is here. Jide, good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Mike.
to see you.
Thank you.
We have Tunji Abdulhamid here too. Tunji, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Good. So having two lawyers from all sides, I'm covered. All right. I'm learning Bar Association, eh?
Yes.
Okay. The Nigerian pilot is where we start from. Nigerian pilot this morning says federal government raises alarm. Nigerian pilot is saying federal government raises alarm, and he says a lot of things there. And he said, well, the point is there are so many riders in there. Well, we'll get to know what this alarm is about. Now, from there, let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says discordant tunes over coup alarm. Good. Discordant tunes over coup alarm. Disgruntled elements plotting to remove Buhari. The presidency is saying that. Of course, the spokesperson has issued a statement in that regard. Claim by Villa diversionary. Fenifere, the NEF and the PANDEF are saying this. The military warns officers, politicians, a PDP to president, you're haunted by your shadows. And Afa Babalola donates 550 million to fund emergency. That's another issue there. Now, that's Daily Trust. Daily Times is next now. Daily Times says presidency, PDP trade words over alleged plot to topple Buhari's administration. Presidency, PDP trade words over alleged plot to topple Buhari's administration. Okay, that's Daily Times. News Direct is next now. Presidency alleges plot to overthrow Buhari, fingers religious leaders and politicians. PDP mocks the presidency. Well, all that on the front page of the News Direct. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper is saying ACF, that's Arewa Consultative Forum, Ohaneze, PDP slam Buhari as presidency alleges coup plot. Okay, that's and then there are different reactions in there. Okay, that's the Punch newspaper. The Nation is next. The Nation newspaper says presidency, we've uncovered plot to bring down Buhari. The defense headquarters warns military chiefs, politicians against treason. And the Christian Association of Nigeria rejects accusation of religious leaders' involvement, and Islamic Council seeks a probe. Okay, all that's on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Daily Sun is next, and he says presidency raises the alarm. There's plot to topple Buhari's government. Fingers religious political leaders. Politicizing security dangerous, says Diri. Okay, that's the Daily Sun. The Guardian is next. And it said plans to overthrow Buhari, Abound, presidency alleges. And he has some riders there. Buhari haunted by his coup plotting past, says the PDP. Huriwa says you made yourself removable due to crass incompetence, nepotism. That's from Huriwa there. Fenifere UPU, Yoruba Ronu, Pandef federal government over coup alarms. So many other riders there from follow from the story, the main story here. That's the Guardian. The Vanguard is next. Kidnapped Afaka 29, Greenfield 16 students. Anguished parents protest at National Assembly, accuse federal government of neglect. Anguished parents protest at National Assembly, accuse federal government of neglect. We'll certainly talk about that too as we get along. The Blueprint newspaper is next. Lie on Greenfield University, forestry abductions, federal government, Kaduna government working to secure students' freedom. Federal government, Kaduna government working to secure students' freedom. Okay, we'll look at that as well. Now, the Leadership newspaper is next. And it's talking about insecurity. Federal government rejects PDP's offer to help, says opposition playing cheap politics. Federal government rejects PDP's offer to help, says opposition playing cheap politics. That's the Leadership newspaper. Business Day is next. While NNPC forages for cash, its peers record bumper earnings. While the NNPC forages for cash, its peers record bumper earnings. Okay, that's a business day. National economy is next. 316 capital projects worth 39.5 billion naira duplicated in 2021 budget. And this report is by Budget. Budget is an organization. 316 capital projects worth 39.5 billion naira duplicated in the 2021 budget. And that report is by Budget. Okay. We may look at that if we have the time as well. All right, gentlemen, let's look at this story that has covered most of the newspapers this morning. Most of the headlines here talk about the alarm that the federal government is raising regarding the plot to overthrow the government. Nigerians, as far as they're concerned, has kept the issue of military rule behind, and from comments from leaders, they've always said we're better in a democracy. Democracy has come to stay. But when you hear headlines like this, Jide, let me start with you on this. I wonder what you make of this headline.
Let me start with the words of the elders. That when a hunter runs back from the bush to town, and you ask the hunter what is pursuing you, and he says a dog, there's problem. So when those who are saddled with managing the country, ensuring security, are now raising alarm of coup, then the next question is, whose business is it to go after the suspected coup plotters? And that is on one side. And for me, I think it's quite distractional, in just to distract us from the visible crisis that we have in the country. And having said that, the president should not be bothered about coup plot. He's a coup veteran. In December 1983, he was one of those who kicked the Second Republic president, Alhaji Shehu Shagari, out of office. And he has tasted coup. So I think by now, and from his body language and what he told us, I believe he has secured himself by ensuring that those who will protect him in office are around him. But again, if you look at the report, I think on the 5th of December 2020, the former chief of army staff also was warning the generals about coup. But if you have the fear of coup, then can you now ask the question, why do coup take place? All right. Why do coups take place?
Right.
So is it that people are not happy with the situation in the country? Can we begin to deal with this situation? So I don't see my president being afraid of anybody trying to plan a coup. And if you know those who are planning it, go after them, arrest them. You know what to do with the law.
All right, Tunji, let me hear you respond to this quickly before we go on a break and come back. Now, the point there is, when like you said, when the federal government is the one raising alarm, because it's like when there's a protest, it is people who protest from dissatisfaction, agitation, and all of that to the government who has the authority. So when the government is the one raising alarm or finds itself in a situation where you're protesting, who should handle the situation?
It is a confirmation that the government is confused. That they are just trying to look for a way to draw attention of people from the insecurity in the country. And to me, as far as the alarm regarding the coup, it's unnecessary. You're just eating up the polity as far as I'm concerned. Because just like it's rightly said, the basic responsibility of government is to provide security and ensure crimes are not committed. If you have intelligent reports that certain people are planning to commit to carry out a coup, do your investigation. Ensure that those attempts do not materialize, not to come to the public and certainly not the alarm as you are starting an alarm regarding an attempt to commit a.
All right, we'll come back to this. Let's go on a short break and then we'll come back. You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's go on a short break. After the break, we'll continue this discussion. Stay with us. Looking at the paper headlines this morning across Nigeria, we've going through most of the newspapers in Nigeria, and I have with me two lawyers in the studio making sense of some of the issues. Jide Ologun is here and Tunji Abdulhamid is here as well. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with us and remaining with us. Now, we were discussing some of the headlines on many or most of the newspapers this morning as the federal government raising alarm about attempted coup plot and all of that. Now, Arewa Consultative Forum, in their response on the front page of the Punch newspaper, is just an excerpt. They say it is wrong to see all critics as disgruntled. At the point that I'm just taking that out of part of what they said. So if you read the whole statement they put out there, it's like anybody who criticizes government sees as disgruntled, and then if they say, okay, this is the coup plot is coming from disgruntled religious or political leaders, it means that if you criticize the government, you could be termed coup plotter.
It's a matter of perception, and I think criticism contributes to development. Let's go back to the IT community. Imagine that the first handset that came to Nigeria then, one of the Sagem is still what we are using now. It would have been so boring, but because of criticism and the feedback getting back to the business community, the development kept on growing. And that's why when you find meaningful organizations, they have the business development unit to look at what can we do to improve. But for those who are resiliently resistant of development, criticism will be frowned at their own detriment. Because while you are frowning at corrective criticisms, some other countries are moving forward. One of the impact of insecurity is that you have diminishing foreign direct investment. And I think in the first quarter of year 2020, Ghana had the highest FDI attraction in West Africa. I think about $746 million. And you can see that, and because they decided to embark on brand Ghana. So if you frown at criticism, you are likely not just to be stagnant, but to start going backwards, and the symptoms will be visible. So eventually the symptoms of your failing condition may be the critic you will confront, and at that point in time it may be too late. So it's a matter of perception and reaction.
Okay. All right, Tunji, the point there is, if the statement from the presidency, when they say they've like the way the Nation puts it, we've uncovered plots to bring down Buhari or to and all of that, we haven't seen any arrests. In fact, the point there is the idea of a coup is treasonable, as far as the law is concerned. Yeah. It's treasonable to carry out a coup, and if there are plots for anyone to, how much of a crime is that in the first place?
Yeah, treasonable. If you're a coup,
an attempt.
The
issue of an attempt now,
it's a serious offense.
It's not the coup yet, but
it's a serious offense. In fact, it life imprisonment, or as much as a death penalty to an extent. But you see, like I said, a government must be criticized. When I criticize you, that does not mean I hate you. I'm just trying to make you more better. So if we should listen to, the government should listen to criticism. And the government raising alarm that people want to overthrow or whatever, without, as far as I see that it's general allegation. The basis of this allegation are just two. One, that people are trying to converge and hold a conference. And the other conference, they will not declare, they will not pass a vote of no confidence. Please, when does it become an offense to assemble? I'm aware that Section 40 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, still allows or still gives that right to assemble, peaceful assembly, and so
it's amongst fundamental rights.
So if people are converging and they also have the right to express their opinion, if they converge and then they now said, look, we from this our position here, we are passing a vote of no confidence on the president. Does that amount to a coup? Does that amount to attempt to remove the president? No. They cannot amount to
because people are just
expressing their own
themselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
That position of we now pass the vote of no confidence on the president does not mean the president must leave. Does not mean he must. The only institution that can remove the president is the National Assembly.
National Assembly.
There must be impeachment. So if they are not, that's not the case. So in fact, I see that alarm as unnecessary. I see that alarm as an attempt to even eat the polity, and calling people disgruntled element. I see it as an hate speech. Let me borrow the language of the federal government, because you don't. If somebody use that language against us in government, what would they say?
Okay.
Or those who made those statements. So I think if you don't want a particular thing to be done to you, don't do it to others. Please, let's be decorum in addressing Nigerians. They are the one who pay your salary, who put it there. You are there to serve. And we are making error in this country. What we are making error in this country is that we see those in leadership, the president, the whatever. All those, whatever they call the father of the nation, I always disagree. He cannot be the father of the nation.
Okay.
He is the servant of the nation.
All right.
It should be under.
Okay.
We are the father of.
So we should put it in context.
He's serving us. When you call him the father of the nation, you are saying he's your baron. He can do anything he likes.
Okay.
So
he's actually the servant of the nation.
He is. He's not the father.
Okay. Maybe they're seeing it from the perspective of a servant leader. You know.
If you call a servant a leader, he will see himself as such.
Okay. So we should put things in context.
Call him what he is.
Okay. The servant that is the president.
He's serving us. That's why the president is staying Aso Rock for free. He's using a car worth millions of naira or billions of naira for free, eating for free, dressing for free.
Okay.
So that he will be able to, he will have the ability, or he will have all the whatever to do his job of providing security for us. The president and the governors are my security. They are supposed to protect me.
Of course, every Nigerian will agree with you.
So it is, if I ask for security, or I ask them to do their job by providing security, I'm not doing. Exactly, and that cannot be classified as calling for coup. Or if I say, look, you are not punishing people who are committing crime, please, it appears you are compromising. That's not calling for coup.
All right, we have to leave it here. There's so much to talk about, but certainly time will not permit us to go further here. But I thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Tunji Abdulhamid, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much.
And Jide Ologun, thank you very much for coming as well.
God bless Nigeria.
Exactly.